Come on up, guys. There's room over here. Good morning. Today I want us all to learn a new word. How does that sound? Here we go. One more latecomer. I want us to hear some verses from the Bible, and I want us to listen for a word. Luke, all in the same chapter, Luke chapter 4, verse 15, it says that Jesus taught in their synagogues, and everyone praised him. Did you hear a word you weren't familiar with in there? Jesus taught in the what? In the synagogue. So that was verse 15. Listen to verse 16. Jesus went to Nazareth where he had been brought up, and on the Sabbath day he went into the synagogue, as was his custom. There was the same word again, verse 15, verse 16. Let's look at verse 33. In the synagogue there was a man possessed by an evil spirit. That's the same word in there. And verse 44, it says, and Jesus kept on preaching in the synagogues of Judea. That's 4 times in this chapter it says that they were in the synagogue. Who knows what a synagogue is? That's why we're talking about it. A synagogue is actually like a church. It's a gathering of people, and this is what it means. Synagogue is a long word. It comes from 2 Greek words, ago, which means to bring, and sun, which means to gather. If you put those words together, it means to bring together or to come together. So what are we doing in church this morning? We've come together, right, to worship God. So this is a synagogue in a way, right? We call it church now. A synagogue means when God's people come together to hear the word of God and to grow in their faith. So Jesus went to the synagogue. Guess where you guys are right now? In church, which is a type of the synagogue. And it says to come together. We might have come from different towns, right? Maybe some of you came from West Columbia or Irmo. I came from Ballantyne. We come from different places, but we've come together to be in the Lord's house. Now, here's one of my favorite verses. And one of the ones I just read, it says, Jesus went to the synagogue as was his custom. What does that mean, as was his custom? That means that was part of what he used to regularly do, right? And you guys are folks that I see in church on a regular basis. How often do we come to church? Every Sunday, right? The Bible tells us that was Jesus' habit too. As was his custom. That means it was a habit. It was something he regularly did. Let's go to church. Here we are, right, in the Lord's house, to think of it as a good thing, to be here, meet other Christians, and to hear the word of God, to grow in our faith, right? It was cool to notice that Jesus had the custom of going to church himself, right? So synagogue means to come together. Does that make sense now? To come together. So here we are together with the Lord to learn and to grow. Now we have a new word too. All right, thanks for coming up, guys. Blessings.